Welcome to Wednesday evening healing yoga for Wednesday, February 7th. Tonight's class, we're going to start laying down, and you might want your head away from the wall, pointed out to the center of the room for something that we'll do 10 or 12 minutes in. And props that you might want to have would include a strap and a block and a blanket. And of course, anything that makes you feel happy in Shavasana. And arrange your body so that your low back feels great, so that your shoulders feel supported. And take any support or modifications that would help you feel more supported even than you already are. And breathing in, feel the glory of breathing in. Breathing out, let the day just completely go. And feel that alternation of forces of the inhale and the exhale a few times. Just natural breath to begin with. Now start to notice where your torso moves with the next breath. Without judgment or predetermination, just notice. Take a few breaths with this sort of noticing curiosity. Then I'm going to bring your attention to a few landmarks. On your next set of breaths, notice how your hip points move. Notice how the tissue connected to the hip points moves as you breathe. This is the front of your pelvis, so they're not going to move crazy far. Just notice sensations of movement. And then expand that to be your whole belly below your navel. Notice any sensation or movement from the navel to the pelvic floor. Include your back, your sacrum. And then draw your attention to the lowest part of your rib cage. And as you focus here with curiosity, all the way from the front of the rib cage around to the back, start to notice sensation and movement connected to the lowest ribs. And then expand that to be everything from your navel to those lowest ribs that you were just feeling into. Include your back. Beautiful. Now, one last place, bring your attention right under your armpits. You don't have to do anything special. Just notice sensation and movement on the sides of your rib cage and under your armpits. Your diaphragm is driving all of this sensation and movement. And it is so important for your nervous system, your proprioceptive system, the way your body knows where you are in space, and for your muscles just plain feeling good. So for the next 3 breaths, try to notice all of these places under the armpits, the diaphragm, all the way through the belly to the pelvic floor. Notice the waves of movement going through. All the way to the back. Now on your next exhale, hug your knees in. Rock a little bit side to side. Keep your left leg hugged in. Extend the right leg down along the ground as if you were standing on it. And then bring your right hand to the outside of the left knee. So you're going to go across the body. And then exhale, lowering that knee over to the other side of the body. You don't have to come to the ground. Just notice where it feels good to get to. And then notice all of those places, armpits, diaphragm, belly back to the spine, to the pelvic floor as you breathe in this new position. On your next exhale, press your navel back so that your hips come to the ground. And your back isn't really pulling, your belly is pushing. And then hug the right knee in. Rock a little bit, however it feels good. You could rock head to tail, side to side, with both knees in. And then extend that left leg along the ground. Keep the right knee hugged in. You're going to extend that left leg as if you were standing on it. And then the left hand to the outside of the right knee. On an exhale, start to bring it across the body toward the left side, across the body. Beautiful. Now, on your next exhale, press the navel back to bring the hips to the ground. Hug both knees in. And then reach your heels to the sky. Now, if it feels good at first, you can support your legs with your hands a little bit, but then lift the kneecaps, press the heels away, and inhale, reach your arms up by your ears, supine elbows. Beautiful. Now, notice sensations through the armpits and outer ribs. There will be fewer. You've stretched a bunch of that tissue. But then is there more sensation from the diaphragm to the pelvic floor? And if this feels tiring, it is a core pose. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is bend your knees and reach your fingers to the sky. Now, inhale, extend your left leg and right arm. The closer you get to the ground without touching it, the more effort this is going to take. So if you want it to take less, come up higher. Exhale, bring everything back to the start position, and then inhale the other side out and maybe down. Inhale, start. Exhale. Now, if your heel comes toward the ground and your low back pops up and it arches up, don't go quite as low anymore. Conversely, if you want to feel more with this, extend the legs and then do it with straight legs. Beautiful. The next time you feel like you've done both sides equally, come back to center, hug the knees in again, rock from head to tail. This too is core. It's just, I find it to be more fun. If you don't find it fun, don't bother. And then end up sitting up. And you can turn around to face the center of the room if you feel like it. And if you're not rocking, then just turn over to one side, come to all fours, and then come to sitting on your sitting bones. And your knees are going to be bent to begin with, heels directly in front of the hips, and start rocking side to side. Lift the sternum to the sky and free your arms. Make sure your heels are at least as wide as your hips. Lift the sternum and then start lifting one hip and then the other hip. Rocking the boat. Now, coming back to center, go ahead and straighten your legs or keep them slightly bent, yogi's choice. You're going to reach out. This is Shakti Mudra. Extend the index fingers, cross the thumbs. Now, imagine that you're holding a big stirrer, a big spoon, and we're stirring the pot. So we're going to move around and back. You're going to keep your chest lifted here and over and forward, reaching the chest forward. And then reverse. Try to keep from rounding the upper back. Keep your head in line with your spine. It's one of the purposes for lifting the sternum. Keep your shoulders plugged in. And then come back to center. Bring the soles of the feet together. Rock side to side. And then hinge forward and just take a few breaths. Center your attention in the chest. drawing your awareness internally, sensing the inside of your body. And then come up, and your heels could be as close or as far away as you want for this, but try having your hands on the fronts of the ankles. The psoas responds to rhythm. So we're just going to lift and lower the knees. Nowhere to go, nothing to achieve, just feeling. And imagine that every shape we make is a question you're asking your body. And your body's language is going to come back in terms of sensations and breathing patterns. Come back to stillness. And then reach your heels out. And this time we're going to bring the big toes and the inner knees together. Still want your sitting bones pointing down. And then you want to make sure that your spine is in integrity. So you can lean back, but be careful not to curve through the low back. Now, reach out, Shakti Mudra. As you exhale, lift one hip and turn your rib cage toward it. Inhale forward, exhale other side. You can draw your thumbs to your chest or not as you twist. About once more on each side if you want to. And then come back to center. Soles of the feet together. Rock a little bit side to side. And we're going to come back to butterfly. Rhythmically releasing any tension that got built up in hip flexors there. And then bring your hands behind you. Set your feet on the ground, and you can set them down kind of wide. That'll make this as pleasant as it can be. Inhale, lift your chest. And then exhale, keeping all four corners of both feet on the ground. Lift the hips. Keep breathing and notice those points, the diaphragm through the abdomen to the pelvic floor, up to one more breath. And then when you're ready, inhale, hips down. Now lift one hand, lift the hips and look at the ground. I find this more pleasant. Not everybody does. Exhale, hips down. Other hand back. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. And then inhale, lift up. Bring up one hand and bring both hands down. Your legs will cross. Walk yourself back and come to down dog. Pedal your feet, turn your head side to side, whatever feels good in your first dog of the practice. Bend your knees, slide your hips back. And then exhale, lower your knees quite a lot. And take one hand and cross it over behind the other hand. Inhale, lower the hips and raise the hand that you just freed up. Bring your feet back to parallel and then plant your hands and sit down. I see mostly smiles. Stretch your heels out, rock from side to side, lifting one hip, lifting the heart the whole time. And then soles of the feet together, hinge forward. Now hinge up. Come back to that reverse tabletop position. And inhale, lift, and go the opposite direction that you went before. So you're going to lift the opposite hand, bring it down next to the other one. Your legs will cross. Walk your hands to center and uncross your legs. Bring as much movement to your dog as you would like, or be as still as you would like. Pay particular attention to the diaphragm as you inhale and exhale. Exhale, lower the knees a lot, and then cross one hand just under the other. Lift the hand you freed up, bring your hips to the ground, and come back around. And then go right back over and turn around, down dog facing the center of the room. Exhale, chest, chin, and knees. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose, tabletop, or downward facing dog. Inhale to a tabletop position. And then lift one heel toward the sky behind you. Now, exhale, just press that heel even further toward the sky. Inhale, just back down to the start position. So you're going to be moving through maybe 2 inches of space here. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. You're going to feel this in the glute, maybe the ham. Try to keep that knee bent and the heel pressing toward the sky. And then exhale, bring that foot forward. Inhale, Anjanasana. Press into the top of the back foot. If you want to, bend the elbows, bring your hands to the back of your head, and then draw the shoulder blades apart and down as you press your head back into your hands. Lift the sternum to the sky. Now exhale. Bring your hands down. This is one of the places where a block can come in handy. You're going to flex that front foot and draw your hips back. So for some of you, having your hands on the ground while you do this is going to be bueno. And it can also be nice to be a little higher. Draw your hips back. And then hinge forward as much as feels good. You're going to feel the hinging forward through the back of that leg. And you want to feel that stretch, that sense of pulling evenly through the leg, not really intensely across the back of the knee or at the sitting bone. On an exhale, hinge forward, draw that leg back, and wave your hips from side to side. This can all also be done from elbows or even on blocks. Blocks are going to take a little bit more core. Now, lift the opposite heel to the sky. And then exhale. Press up with a bent knee. Inhale down just to your starting point. So again, we're working in a tiny motion. On an exhale, if you're using blocks, you're going to want to move them out of the way. Bring that foot forward and through. Press into the back, top of the back foot. Inhale, lift up, straight cactus, or if you'd like, hands behind the head, draw the shoulders down and wide. Press your head back into your hands. Lift up the gut side of your spine, all the way from the tail to the space behind your navel, to the solar plexus, and then even lift the little muscles around your spine behind your heart. Exhale. Draw the hips back, start to hinge forward. Blocks or floor. Flex that front foot and internally draw your hips back away from that heel. Now, the further the foot is out to the side of the hip, the less this is going to be distributed through the back of the leg. But find the place where you're getting a stretch that feels meaningful in your body today. Exhale. Shift forward. And then inhale. Shift back. And wave the hips side to side. And now inhale. Lift that first heel in the same way. Reach the opposite arm forward. And then reach back and connect. If they don't connect, then keep reaching back and you'll be building the strength. Beautiful. Kick the foot into the hand. Exhale. Bring both hands down, both knees. Set the knees wide. Settle the hips back. Walk your hands forward and lift the wrists. Draw your hips back and away from the fingers. And then relax the arms. Walk your hands back, come back to your tabletop. Second heel to the sky. Reach the opposite arm forward. And then swim the hand back. Connect and kick. On an exhale, release. Set the knees wide. Sit back, and this time, try cupping your eyes, resting your cheekbones on the heels of your hands, with your hands cupped over your eye sockets. Notice where your breath moves. Do you feel your hips lowering and lifting with the breath? Can you feel your abdomen expand as your diaphragm exerts pressure downward? And do you feel your pelvic floor as your diaphragm expands down, drawing breath in? And then bring your forearms to the ground, turn the toes under, and lift the hips up and back, pressing the forearms into the ground. Alternatively, take downward facing dog. So this is dolphin dog. Keep breathing. Bend the knees a lot. Exhale, knees down. Walk your hands back and come to low squat if it's available in your body's vernacular today, or forward fold if it's not. Now, if you're in a low squat, bring the elbows in front of the knees if you haven't already. Pull the elbows back and the heart forward. Now, bring the backs of your hands to the ground. And then bring your hands on the outside of your feet with your elbows inside of the knees. Now, this could be your garland pose. If you'd like, you can reach around and take the outer foot or the heels. Draw the elbows back and lift the navel. When you're ready, inhale, release, reach the hands forward, exhale, heels down, inhale, lift the heart and the arms, and exhale down through center. Now those promised standing poses. From mountain at the top of the mat, project the left foot back, bending the right knee. The heel could be lifted or grounded, yogi's choice. Inhale. Feel the weight of your arms as they go up and then down. Try to keep your torso pretty stable and notice what's happening through the muscles of your abdomen as the weight of your arms comes forward and up And then back down. And then the next time the arms are up, take cactus. If the heel's been lifted and it feels, your leg feels tired, you can ground it. Exhale, scarecrow arms. Inhale. So we're just turning the upper arm bone in the socket. Lift the left inner ankle bone. Inhale. Reach your arms forward. Now, swim them back. Notice what happens in the core. Go ahead and do that a couple more times. And try keeping them back as you bring more and more weight forward over the right foot, maybe flying the left. If you're feeling skippy, you might reach back and take the flying foot. On an exhale, hinge up, release, and come back to mountain. Turn your palms forward, wave side to side. And then recenter, pressing feet down, lifting head up. Notice the diaphragm, the space under the armpits, all the way down to the pelvic floor. And project the right leg back. Heel up or down, front knee bent. Inhale. Lift up, broaden the shoulder blades across the upper back. Now exhale. Swim your arms down and just notice what's happening in all those places we were paying attention to. Now exhale and swim your heart forward. Take a few breaths here. It's a little different than we did on the other side. It'll even out. Exhale, ground the back heel. Wave up, stacking your spine from the inside. Reach up. Exhale. Cactus to scarecrow. Inhale, arms up. Hinge forward. Notice the core catch. Swim the arms back. Notice what happens. And then with your arms forward or back, shift forward, lifting the flying leg. And then again, if you feel like it, connect, and kick. Feel free to use the wall. When you're ready, hinge up, release the leg, find swaying mountain. Transfer your weight from side to side. And then even out the hips and draw your weight over one leg or the other. Doesn't matter where you start. Keeping the hips level, float the opposite knee up. And then we're going to turn this femur, lift that heel across the other leg, and then lift it out. Nice and slow. We're trying to recruit more muscle fibers and clear out habit patterns. Now, bring that ankle over the opposite knee for a figure four. Totally cool to use your hand to bring it up. Hinge back from the standing knee. And maybe bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, rise up, unlace, set down, and then transfer your weight to the other leg and make circles around your toes with that standing leg that's so tired. Inviting it back into connection with the core and the breath, if it ever left. And then do that with what's going to be the standing leg. And level the hips, bring it over. Inhale, float the other knee. And then internal rotation, external rotation. There's no right or wrong. There's just noticing how it feels. And then the next time you're across, bring the ankle above the knee and perhaps using the wall. If you use the wall, make sure you start off about a foot in front of it, because otherwise you won't have room. Inhale, rise up, and exhale. Transfer the weight into the flying leg. Circle around that standing leg. And then from the top of the mat, project the left leg directly behind the right leg. So now you're facing the long edge. Inhale, bend the front knee, the right knee, and float the arms. Exhale back to center. And do it a couple more times. The next time that you're out into the expression of warrior one, feel as if your arms have floated to the top of a pond. And so your shoulders can chill out and you can still reach out through your fingers. Beautiful. Now, imagine you have a string going to the outside of your right knee from your right bum cheek, and pull that string back using your bum cheek. Exhale, hinge forward, bring the elbow to the knee or the hand to the ground, yogi's choice. And then the top arm can wrap, reach to the sky, or come by the ear. Keep pulling that imaginary string back from the bum. Beautiful. Inhale, reach back, wave back through warrior two. And then, depending upon how wide you are, you can hop the back foot forward a little bit. Exhale, forward to mountain. Now, we're going to do twisted tree with the left leg lifted. Feel free to do this at the wall. So if you're using the wall, you would take your left hand to the wall. Wherever you are, you're going to lift the left knee and then bring the right hand to the outer left knee. And you can just walk your left hand back or reach fully back. Left leg is lifted, right hand outside of left knee, left hand to the wall. Or back, left hand back. There you go. Up to 3 more breaths. And then use an inhale to unwind. And exhale, set both feet down. Wave from side to side. From mountain at the top of the mat. Project the right foot behind the left foot. Now, there are reasons for taking a more staggered stance. Feel free to try it out. I'm not sure that it's a necessity for anybody that I know of tonight. Inhale, express, and exhale, gather. The next time you're out in warrior two, turn your elbows to the ground and your palms to the sky. Feel your shoulder blades melt a little bit. And then reach out and turn just the palms down. Find that string going from the outer knee back into the bum cheek and pull it back with the bum. Gaze is over the first 2 fingers. So the Sanskrit word for that is the drishti. On an exhale, hinge forward, elbow or floor, top hand wraps, reaches, or comes by the ear. The drishti here could be the top palm of the hand, hasta bandha, or the big toe. Continue to breathe. Up to a couple more breaths. I gotcha. Isometrically pull this back and feel this fire up even more. Beautiful. Inhale, reach back. And exhale, wave up. Feel free to hop the back foot a little bit forward and then step forward. Mountain or trembling mountain. And then right leg, twisted tree at the wall or away, yogi's choice. Right knee lifts. Exhale. Turn your torso toward the flying leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. Take the left hand to the outside of the right leg. Roll the left shoulder back and toward the right bum cheek. On an inhale, unwind. Exhale. Set everything down. And then bend your knees a little bit and wave around. Now, last standing pose, artichandrasana. So I'm going to do a quick demo because you can use a block and the wall. And actually, you know what? I'm going to show. I think most of you know this, but sometimes it's helpful to see it. So artichandrasana, we're going to start in a warrior two-like position, and you can use the block as an extender in the first arm. If you want to, you can have your whole body against the wall, and then come up. And the idea is you're just reaching out in every direction, down through the heels, fingers. Now, you can also, for this, you want to have a sense of how long your own leg is. And if you're not sure about that, it's going to be a few Goldilocksing maneuvers, but that's okay. And so you would start with that back heel at the wall and maybe even pressing back. And then, so if you're away from the wall, the block is going to go pinky toe side and forward and back a little bit more, because that'll be right under where your shoulder ends up. And you can press your heel into the wall, and it makes it feel so much more stable. Then, of course, you can do it totally away from the wall. So have your back to the wall, your back heel to a wall, or be completely free of the wall. And find your warrior two. So that's the side facing. And then try wrapping your back hand behind your waist. And reach forward and out, pinky toe side out, and then fly. If you want to, extend your top arm to the sky. So put the block behind your pinky toe. You're going to feel way more stable. Yeah. Beautiful. When you're ready, bend the standing leg, reach the flying leg down and back. So you come back through warrior two. And exhale, forward to mountain. Now, when you're ready, step your feet a little bit wide, pigeon-toed a little bit. Bring the belly to the thighs and hang in ragdoll for just a few breaths here. Could even have your sitting bones at the wall if you'd like. Exhale now, drop your tail, wave up, stacking the spine from the inside. Roll your shoulders onto your back. And warrior two to the other side. Have your block in the front hand. Wrap the back hand behind the waist. And then the block goes to the pinky toe side and forward. If you want to extend, press down through the standing heel, back through the flying heel. Beautiful. Beautiful. When you're ready, bend standing, reach flying, wave back to warrior two, Virabhadrasana, hero friend. And then step forward from hero friend to mountain. And then step wide, toes in a little bit. You can even have your bum against the wall. And roll down, ragdoll. Try the opposite cross of the arms. And you'll know it's opposite because it won't feel natural. Bend your knees a little bit. There you go. On an exhale, hinge at the knees and lower down to squat pose. So, opportunity here to come into crow, the arm balance. You could also keep your toes on the ground. If you don't feel like it, then you could take a block, put it under your sitting bones, and sit here in a supported squat or meet us in Shavasana. If you'd like, set your hands kind of in front of your toes, but under your shoulders. Beautiful. Squeeze your elbows in. Sorry, squeeze your knees into your elbows. Maybe you bring your toes toward your bum. When you're done, keep looking at the ground. When you feel complete, come into child's pose. Now, roll over onto your back, please, for bridge. So 2 options. If you feel like a supported bridge tonight, grab a block, and after we lift the hips, slide the block behind your hips and have a little rest. So we're all gonna start the same way as soon as you can hear me. Knees bent, feet on the floor. And depending upon how your knees feel doing this, bring your heels close enough that you could touch them. Try to reach your fingers down and swipe the backs of your heels. And then elongate the back of your neck just enough that your neck is in a neutral position. And then pressing into the whole footprint, shoot your knees toward the wall across from the knees, lifting the hips. Press your arms into the ground and feel the space behind your heart lift up, just like we did before. And then if you want to, put that block under your hips and rest down. If you'd like, join your hands together behind the back. Beautiful. When you're ready to come out, if your hands are together, unwind the hands, unroll the shoulders, set your body down. When you're ready, you can remove a block if you have it behind there. But we're also about to hug the knees in. So if you want to do that from the block, you could just hug your knees in with your hips lifted on the block. And then open your arms to a T, either figure four the legs, or if you just want a simple twist, keep your knees right next to each other. Exhale and lower your legs to either side. And you can use a block under your knees or lower legs. Now just release all of the effort of being in a posture and feel your breath. Bring your attention to the lowest ribs, down to the navel, down to the hip bones, down to the pelvic floor and tailbone, into the space underneath the armpits. And then feel your breath waving through your body, spiraling through. Feel how the two sides of your rib cage breathe differently. And when you're ready, come back to center carefully, maybe lifting one leg and then the other. Honor your body's sensations. And then if you're crossed, take the opposite cross and go to the other side. Check in with your landmarks for breathing and sensation. Feel the breath twisting through the body, swirling. And then when you're ready, lift one knee and then the other, or however you want to come back to center. Take any final movements that you would like. And stretch out for your Shavasana. All for cleared music, but it keeps skipping playlists. All right. All right. Raise your hand if you would like any extra props, including a sandbag. Okay. Allow yourself to audibly sigh as you exhale. your tongue out and wave it from side to side. Your tongue is the most forward projecting part of what's called your deep front line that includes your lungs and diaphragm, your psoas. And releasing all effort of breathing. Allow yourself to be breathed, or to simply be breathing. And consider that for these few moments, it's enough to simply be. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be. And allow the sound of my voice to fall away. If you'd like, you could imagine you've made camp for the night high in the mountains. And there's a beautiful campfire casting warmth. And you're nestled in a sleeping bag that magically keeps you the perfect temperature for you. It insulates you from the foot of snow beneath you and between you and the earth. And this sleeping bag is so perfectly warm that you sink a little bit back into the snow so that you're cradled by the earth in the snow covering. You can smell the pine and the scent of the earth, moist from freeze-thaw cycles. Just on your face, beneath your warm cap, above your warm sleeping bag, you can feel the crisp night air and see the diamond sparkles of the stars. Allow yourself to rest where light, air, flow, and earth all meet. Listen for the sound of your own heart. And try to spread your nostrils and feel the breath as it comes into your sinuses. And then feel your tongue in your mouth, your clothes on your body. Circle your eyes behind your eyelids, both directions. And as you start to stretch and move, raise one hand if you would like Palo Santo spray. Take your time spiraling up to your comfortable seat. And feel how your breathing helps to support your posture effortlessly. And then if you'd like, join me in a final Om. Om. Happy Yoga Day. Namaste. You're so welcome.